Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and this is a Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast. We're in the last days of the beta, things are wrapping up and this game is a video game. We have ABux playing as the Ostherr, the Germans, against SageOfTheSix playing as the Soviets. And I don't know what strategy either player is going to use. I think I remember the Soviet is maybe going to try something interesting, but we'll have to find out. Nothing crazy going on for the Ostherr yet, just a Grenadier out there. Please, if you have any, well, if you're a good player and you have cool replays, post them on CoH2.org. There's not a ton of stuff to watch when you're trying to get better at the game. Everyone streams these days, but I guess even some of the streamers post their best replays. I know Siberian does. He's one of the new people who seems to be big in the community. I know I'm forgetting his name. Well, Symbiosis, who streams a bunch, posts some replays. But yeah, if you're a streamer, if you're not a streamer, if you get some cool replays, stream those. We have 2 engineers out from the Soviets. Second engineer is building the tier 1, so probably we'll get maybe a scout car out of here because that's what all the Soviets do. You load your engineers up in a scout car with flamers, and that is amazing. And nothing surprising here. More grenadiers out. Maybe going to see a machine gun third, maybe going to see another grenadier third. This map is very big, so grenadiers can be helpful, but at the same time on a really big map, if your machine gun catches your opponent, so like let's say you stick a machine gun in the shack or something and it suppresses some people here and you force the retreat, they have to go all the way back to their base. Well, I guess that's not super long, but like over here or something, over in your territory, if they go for a quick cutoff on your fuel, you catch them with a machine gun, they got to go all the way back to their base. And in fact, it's even really bad on the retreat because like a lot of, on this map, Moscow outskirts, there's a lot of quick paths to places that you have to jump over a fence. So like if you're here and you give a unit a move order to here, it's going to go like, well, I'll walk all the way over here, then I'll walk all the way up here, then I'll walk all the way over here. But if you just tell them to hop the fence, you select your dude and you're like, jump over this. These guys all had building queues above there. Oh, they were all capturing. Wow, quick bunker. Interesting. So, if you give them just 3 fence jump orders, 1, 2, 3, they'll make it there much, much faster than going all the way around. And there's a lot of that actually going on this map. So like if you're here and you tell your people to go here, it's going to take them forever. They'll go like around the bottom, or you can just hop the fence instantly. And it's like doubly bad if you want to go here or something. So there's a lot of that on Moscow outskirts, and a fair amount of that on the rest of the Men of War map, or God, I said Men of War, Company Heroes maps too. So please be aware of that, and when you're moving your units around. Hold on, let me stop recording for a sec. My frame rate's fucked up. Welcome back. So be aware of that when you're moving around your units, but even more importantly, be aware of that when you're retreating, right? Because when you retreat, they're not going to hop any of the fences. They're not smart enough to do that. So if you're like on this side of the fence and you want to hit the retreat button, just hop it really fast. Don't think you can hop the bush fences. Yeah, you can only hop the, whoops. Yeah, you can't hop the bush fences. You can only hop fences that don't have bushes, because that's how it works. Well, I guess maybe you can hop these. I don't know. I feel like I've tried to hop a fence with a bush, and it just wasn't happening. But in any case, if you're about to hit retreat, they might end up taking a very circuitous path unless you first tell them to hop over the fence. So please be aware of that. And yep, called it. It's the scout car. Nothing surprising. Conscripts in it right now, probably just until it can make its way to an engineer squad. Conscripts can shoot out, so they're still pretty good. And we have a machine gun on the back of the scout car in the front. So in the original Company Heroes, the Wehrmacht half-track had a better machine gun on the back than it did on the front. I'm not sure if that's still the case. If I had to guess, I'd probably say these are both the same machine gun because it's kind of arbitrary. But in any case, a good Faust and then some good hits on the back get kill on this thing. It matters with your light vehicles whether the back or the front is facing towards enemy infantry. The way small arms fire damages a vehicle is by getting penetrations, and penetrating is easier against back armor. So bad micro on the Soviet player's part. What is... So that's a penal battalion, and that's a satchel charge. It didn't kill anybody, but, well, nice try. So, now we have a sniper. So, okay, interesting penal battalion strategy by the Soviet player. Instead of getting conscripts, in fact, 0 conscripts, right? We just have this skating penal battalion. Wow, look at that. He's skiing, basically, but with no poles. And in the spring, I guess he has 1 pole, and no skis. His rifle's a pole. What do you use poles for when you're skiing? I've never been skiing. I've been skiing, but I don't think I had a pole when I skied. God, that was a long time ago. And another scout car. So, well, if at first you don't succeed, try that shit again, because it's overpowered, so obviously. And we have Gren spam from the Germans. Maybe these are good players, maybe they aren't, but either way, they're both doing weird stuff. Soviet doing weird things in terms of not being very good, and Germans being weird in terms of spamming a shit ton of grenadiers and building a bunker, and I don't know. So the bunker is theoretically useful because, you know, your opponent's maybe always going to be fighting over the fuel cutoff, and you always, or the fuel, and you always want to keep the fuel, and so, you know, a bunker is going to help you keep control of the fuel, sort of, but you just pay a lot of manpower to get these things on the field early, and that's manpower that's not going to be on the field capping things for you. We have another scout car, this time loaded up with sniper team. So we're gonna have 2 scout cars driving around. These penal battalions have flamers now, so they're going to, do they get 1 flamer or 2? I used to think they got 2, but I guess they get 1, so not really as, if you're gonna stick them in a scout car, I'm not sure it's really worth having a penal battalion with a flamer rather than an engineer with a flamer. Obviously the penal battalion is more expensive to purchase, and you're not gonna get one anyways, the way you'll generally get an engineer anyways, because you start with one. So yeah, don't know about that in terms of the scout car, but obviously in terms of just infantry combat, penal battalion is going to always be better because they have the SVT-40s, pretty good guns at medium range and long range, and even close range, but yeah, when they're in a scout car, who cares? So this bunker not doing anything, didn't upgrade it with machine guns or anything. I could sort of maybe imagine somebody spending some of their munitions on that, but again, you don't want to sink a lot of resources. Don't be double capping. You don't want to sink a lot of resources into something that's going to be immobile this early into the game. It's just going to reduce your capping power by that much because you're not going to have stuff around. We just have massive grenadier spam, 6 grenadier squads. He lost his Pio up there in the bunker. Picks a doctrine. Soviets have not teched up to anything yet. They've dumped all their fuel into these 3 scout cars pretty much. So we're not going to see super teching from the Soviets for a while. Do we have any tiers? We don't have any tiers purchased from the Auster, and he's saving up 111 fuel. So I'm beginning to worry that he's not any good at the game and that I was misled by the... So these are just 2 random people, and I downloaded the replay from companyheroes2.org. And since we don't have a ladder, thank you Relic, I don't have any way of knowing who's good at the game or not. So instead of just casting continually replays by Symbiosis and Siberian, who are 2 of the only people posting who I can be pretty sure are good, I've been taking chances, and maybe shouldn't have taken a chance on this replay in terms of high-level play, but that's alright. We can learn from mistakes as well as triumphs. So in terms of mistakes, building all these bunkers, definitely a mistake. You're just, look at the map control right now, it's not any good. Although the Auster can come back from this sort of map, anyone can come back from this sort of map control thing. Comebacks in Company Heroes 2 are pretty not too tough to do. In terms of the Soviets, losing that first scout car, obviously a big deal. Going for this penal battalion when you're just using them as flames in the scout car, maybe not the greatest use of manpower. Instead, you could just go for a conscript squad and an engineer squad. Boom! Doesn't even get the Faust off. That's not working. You want to hop out on this side of the building, go around the side and try and Faust them. Presumably the building has an exit over there. Yeah, it looks like it. It's really hard to tell where all the doors and stuff are on buildings in Company Heroes 2. It was very easy in Company Heroes, but either I'm not used to it or it's just tough to tell because in Company Heroes 2 it's a mess. Guards rifle before he sees any vehicles. So since these are a call-in from off-map, you can buy them instantly. Save them, I think, until you see your opponent get a vehicle. If you know they're teching to vehicles, like you can smell it coming, then sure, I don't know, get a guards rifle out slightly earlier, get them on the field, maybe upgrade the DP-27s if you want to get them able to button people or something. But until then, you're probably better off sinking your manpower into conscripts and reinforcing your conscripts and getting hit the dirt on your conscripts and stuff like that. Please don't park these, by the way, in front of one of these machine guns. They can tear them up. So I don't know about getting those guards rifle early, and certainly throwing them away like he is down south right now, which we'll look at in a sec when this thing finally gets Fausted and dies. Well, here they are, down to 1 man. So that's going to be a lot of manpower lost for the Soviets. Of course, we're going to have a lot of manpower lost by the Germans because he's lost a squad now, and he might even lose a second to this M20. So that's painful stuff for the Germans. Doesn't have the munitions to Faust these things, and has not sunk his fuel into any vehicles. He's up to tier 2 now. Hasn't built any of these things except this. This is just stupid, and I don't even know what killed it. Wow, I was talking instead of watching Well, something killed it. It's dead now. Maybe it was shot over here by Grenadiers. Whatever, it's dead. Maybe he'll try it again. This one has a sniper. Okay, so the Germans just have a lot of fuel. He's at 71 fuel now, having tech to tier 2, so that costs another 60 fuel. And only now building a support thing. So he didn't have any AT. He skipped tier 1, which has the Panzer Grenadiers, which you can get with Panzer Shreks, which are very munitions heavy, but at least they last for a while instead of Panzer Fausts, which are one-off things. Getting pushed off by snipers. Wow, we have 3 fuel OPs by the Soviets. A 1, a 2, a 3. So I'm beginning to have doubts as to these players being good at all. And there's the guards rifle again, so whatever. Whatever, it's a fun game. There's stuff going on. I'm sure you've run into Soviet scout cars. So if your opponent is bad enough with the micro that you find yourself getting these sorts of kills, driving or running towards the scout car can sometimes push them off, because if they're not good enough to kite you, if they just keep driving in like this and being like way too risky, then chances are running towards... Did you just try and rifle grenade that thing? Jesus Christ, that's not gonna do it. Like, even, well, maybe if you got a direct hit, it would do some damage. I've never seen that though, because nobody's bad enough to get direct hitted by a rifle grenade on their scout car. Okay, someone test that out and send me the replay. Every time I say this in my Shoutcast, it never happens. Okay, sniper still sniping. 8 kills, so that's nice. Is the... oh, this machine gun was shooting there. I was like, is this bunker shooting backwards? Did they, like, change it so that base defenses are better? No, the M20 machine gun was shooting it. And the sniper's dead. That's bad. Is that the ragdoll or an animation? That's a ragdoll. Jesus pose. Soviet sniper died on the cross for our sins, but she looks largely unperturbed by that. She's just like, yeah, I'm just hanging out. Okay, so with these 3 OPs on the fuel, Soviets up to 64 fuel income, because the Soviet actually doesn't own either of the 2 fuel points, so should definitely be putting more pressure on those, rather than, God, sinking all your manpower into OPs is not good. Don't sink it into bunkers, and don't sink it into OPs. You want manpower to be on the field fighting for you. You want to be getting stuff out of your manpower. Soviets at 500 manpower right now, probably going to buy something from the Tankovi Battalion Command Tier 3. Whoop, not, just kidding, that's Tier 4, isn't it? Yoink. No, it's Tier 3. Okay, so Tier 3 is always the thing with the little ladder symbol, and so we'll probably see a T-34 out from this thing, except I was wrong about how much manpower he's floating, I guess because he just bought a guard's rifle, and also I was looking at the wrong person. More of our troops have been lost, so that's a squad up there. The Penal Battalion, I suppose? Yeah, look, horrific unit preservation by the Soviets, loading everybody up into M20s, which is getting killed, and then sending people off into the distance to get killed by infantry. Way over investing in guards rifle. Buy these when your opponent gets vehicles, not for any other reason. I guess they come with their own grenades, which is nice, but you can research Molotovs, whatever. See, there is a door on that side of the house. Okay, so Micro is not so great on the German. He gets grenaded, gets out of the house, and gets back in the house. You need to do that before you get grenaded. One of the things good players will often do to fake out other good players is throw a grenade at the door where people are exiting, because then when they see the grenade being thrown, they're like, oh shit, gotta get out of the house. So they get out of the house, and then they're all clustered by the door, and they get owned by the grenade. This is even easier in Dawn of War 2, where it just works out because the buildings are so tiny, and there's always like a boom, second grenade goes in, kills, ooh, and they're dead. So there you go, grenades. These 2 players are bad. Okay, it's even easier in Dawn of War 2, but probably once people learn where all the doors and stuff are on these maps and on these buildings, then we're going to see that fake out by the good players. And probably we already see it, especially with the Molotovs. Well, not especially with the Molotovs, especially with the non-Molotovs, the things that have timers where if you catch someone with a lucky explosion, you'll wipe the squad. That can be worth it, because even if you throw it at the door and you don't force them out, well, so it's often easier to throw it, or safer to throw it not at the door, to throw it in the building, because if you throw it at the door, this is not going to last them very long. If you throw it at the door and you don't force them out, then you get nothing. If you throw it at the building and they jump out, then you won't get the kill because they're too fast for that, but you'll have a chance to steal the building, so that's always something. So we have a T-34 out with this nice little red tiger stripe skin. It's more of an orange now that I think about it. Almost a copper, really. I don't know, what color is that? Sort of a copper. It's difficult to know. Crush. Even this guy can crush. Anybody can crush with the T-34. If you can't crush infantry, train yourself with the T-34. It's the easiest. And then you can move on up. I tried to crush infantry with an elephant the other day. I gotta say it wasn't really happening. I did eventually get 2 guys, but it was tedious and nowhere near as easy as the T-34. So faster tanks, and the turning radius is really what you really want for crushing. Because the infantry are much worse at avoiding a tank rotating on its axis like this as they are compared to how good they are at avoiding a tank going straight forward. So if the tank's driving straight at a guy, they'll usually be like yoink or yoink or something. But if they're standing right next to a tank and it starts rotating and it just crushes them, usually they're just like, oh, I'm dead. And now we have a second T-34. This German is... Is he building anything? No, he's not even building anything. He's got some manpower, some fuel, a lot of fuel. So, build order mistakes, I'd say, from both players. The German especially literally built nothing except grenadiers the entire game, I think. Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's just grenadiers, I think. So if you're going to tech up to this thing, build a thing from this thing, and tech up faster. You had a lot of fuel. You could have made it here much earlier. Don't just build grenadiers, build some machine guns. Maybe build some AT guns. Maybe go up to tier 1 for Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers are quite good. And probably also get a half-track from tier 1 upgraded to a Flammenwerfer, because those are quite good. Even though they were recently nerfed, they're still what the metagame is all about. So get those. Maybe get a scout car to fight off your opponent's scout cars, except your opponent's terrible at using them this game, so things worked out well. In any case, tech up to something. Literally anything. Just grenadiers are not going to do it. So that's, I think, the main German mistake. Number 1, only building grenadiers. Number 2, dumping manpower into bunker and bunker rather than getting people on the field. And number 3, not teching up fast enough. So in addition to only building grenadiers, even if he had chosen to build something other than grenadiers, his teching was not fast enough to get him there when it mattered. So those are the 3 big, I think, key German mistakes in this game. The 3 big key Soviet mistakes. Number 1, Micro could use some serious work on those scout cars. Okay, you're finally building a Panzer IV, but this is clearly not going to survive. So you need to cancel your Panzer IV before the T-34s destroy this, or you're going to lose the resources. You could call in a command tank, but that is now sort of an anti-infantry. Please cancel your... God damn it, he didn't cancel it. Did it give him his stuff back? I wasn't watching close enough. It might have given him his resources back anyway, so that's cool. 1334. So 3 key issues for the Soviets. Number 1, building scout cars that he's not tremendous at saving, although I guess he did better with his 2nd scout car and 3rd scout car. But first, scout car micro for the Soviets. Number 2, don't dump 600 manpower into 3 fuel caches. Instead, dump 600 manpower into a bunch of infantry and contest your opponent's fuel, because having these gives you not a lot of fuel. Having these gives you a lot of fuel and denies your opponent fuel, whereas having these does not deny your opponent any fuel. So if that's what you want for fuel, do that. Issue number 2 for Soviets, maybe the Penal Battalion was basically worthless as a choice to build. And issue number 3, the Guards Rifle were tremendously premature. They're just far too expensive, and against infantry, you're much better off with conscripts. They have 6 guns that shoot infantry rather than just 4, like the Guards Rifle. And with the Hit the Dirt plus PPSHs, they're just, like, tremendous. So don't get the Guards Rifle till you need the Guards Rifle, because they're instant call-in units, so you can just press the emergency button. Alright, so we learned some stuff. This is basically a noobcast, but what can I say? If you know where any good replays are, point me towards them. CoH2.org has some better stuff, so maybe I'll cast one of those right after this. And thank you for watching, and let's be friends. Maybe kiss sometime.